How are we all doing on this fine day? This fine Friday. I've accidentally shaved, and I hate it. There's still some hair there, but it's not. It's not as long as it should be. It's not a good look. I'm very displeased about this situation that I find myself in. Christian's here. How are you doing, Christian? Vesper, can't wait for the balloons. There's a lot of balloons. It should have actually been a Wood Elf episode, I should have called it, because after I put the thumbnail together and put it up, I realised, damn, it's a lot of Wood Elves. Edward's here. 99 Luft balloons. I think there might be 99 balloons. A bouncing baby boy. Thank you, that rat bastard. You bring me joy. I'm so pleased to have you here. Are we doing well, bud? It's a bit of a after a slow start. Looking well washed and with a haircut. Yeah, it's the first time I've had a wash. So this is the first stream I've done since I went to the brother's wedding, actually, isn't it? So the place we went to, lovely. I'll not say the name of it. I don't think it matters, but just for the sake of not potentially doxing my brother in any way, shape, or form, went to a stately home up in the northeast where they had their wedding. And we stayed in the hotel afterwards, which was a fancy hotel. My room was bigger than the amount of living space I have in this flat, which is wild. And it had a bathroom, which is roughly the size of the room that I'm streaming in, with a bath shower combination. But it was a standalone tub. Oh, man. And it's the first time I've had a bath in, I want to say 16 years, because I only ever have showers. To be clear, I do wash, but yeah, it's been a long time since I've actually bothered to get in the bath. But I was like, it's such a fancy bath, it'd be rude not to. And I forgot how I forgot how water works, so I filled it up too much, got in, and I was like, I seem to have displaced water. Not very much, before I realised, and I was like, oh, I'll just let some out. Daniel's here painting a balloon. Well, I hope you enjoy that. Balloons, man. Balloons. Truly one of the units of all time. Just, it's hard to get excited about them, you know? Good to clarify, you wash. I know what you lot are like. I know, especially you. I just know that if I don't say, you know, to clarify, I do wash, someone will be on my ass. It's your Daniel. Oh, it's your second balloon. Oh no! Even more. Lovely stuff. Balloon and neck. Do people who wash regularly tell people who wash? Don't you start, Steve. I'll have none of that slander making it sound like I don't wash. Disgusting. Terrible behaviour. Clean shaven, Mr. Order. I hate it. There is some hair here. It's just shorter than normal. I thought I'd have a freshen up in my electric razor. The longest setting is like a light grey head, and then a short setting is a light grey head as well. And I didn't realise I had the wrong one on, and then I went like, and I went, oh no, I've got nothing. And I could have done some sort of bizarre mutton chop situation, but I did not want to do that, and I'm displeased with it, but it will grow back. You haven't been clean shaven for 14 years, you would rather die. Your words make me feel so much better. It's made you look forward to painting infantry again. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. I've got a lot of infantry to paint. I finished putting together about 70 peasants earlier today. If I'd gone mutton chops, I'd be legally required to play only Empire. That's fair. How else are they going to know we play Warhammer? By not washing. That's why I got to clarify. I'm a Warhammer player who does wash. Clean shaven is nice, makes the ball tingle a little. Fair, you know what? I went super clean shaven once down south and just didn't think it was worth the hassle. Byron's painted one balloon, and let me tell you, if someone wants to bring 7 to a tournament, let them as long as they're painted, then they will know true pain. Yeah, that'll do it. Ivan's here. Good to see you, Ivan. I think the trick is to bring 7, but have borrowed them from other people. That's the way to do it. That is the way to do it. Right, well, you know, if you're here and you haven't already, give the stream a thumbs up. Always helps get picked up by the algorithm, etc., etc. The good stuff there. How has everyone been? It's been a hot minute. It's been 2 whole weeks since I've done one of these. A lot has changed in my life since then. I'm going to put a video up on Sunday, I think, talking about various changes, what I want to do for the channel. Also got a giveaway coming up, so that's good. I did have some shirts that I was planning on getting made, but I've been relying on a third party who has been just not doing what they need to do in that respect. So that's gonna have to wait. But yeah, the giveaway, and it's a Cathay giveaway because of course it is. I just need to double check that the box that I've had in my cupboard since like a week before the Cathay launch came out, make sure that that's there. I bought the box basically. I managed to get a hookup on the box, and I had it like a week and a half before the actual release date of Cathay, which was cool. But yeah, then 1.5 dropped, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm not opening this box and doing the sort of like unboxing / painting video that I was planning to put up on the release day. Did I catch the bouquet last weekend? No, I broke up with my partner of 7 years on the morning of the wedding. Yay. It's the opposite. If it's a sentinel, it's a punishment prize. Yeah, well, you could just get someone else to build it for you, I guess. Hint, hint. Cool. I think we should talk about some Warhammer stuff, I reckon. You know, a bit of Warhammer. Cheeky bit of Warhammer. This stream is brought to you by me. If you're interested in coaching, obviously I do have a coaching patron. That's going well. I now have officially just full-time become a streamer and coach. And it's terrifying. And it's just about... like, I've hit equilibrium. I feel okay about things. Obviously I don't want it to go backwards, but always looking to try and... No, you're not the asshole has a flavour. Don't be daft. How could you possibly have known that? I appreciate the kind words. I'm not fishing for sympathy. It's, you know, it's what it is. Hams fan's gonna submit a list one day. I believe in you, Hams fan. I don't believe in you getting one in next week, but, you know, at some point this year, I reckon. At some point this year. You try so hard to be the asshole. Oh, well, if that's what you were going for, you know, if the intent was there, then that's a little bit different. But, yeah, it's what it is. It doesn't dislike me enough to make me build one of the sentinels. That's reasonable. And yet, sympathy is fishing for me. Oh, yeah. If you wanna practice being just a terrible person, the VIP Discord is definitely the place to learn some tips and tricks. I do coaching in Warhammer. Ed Moores does coaching in how to be a dick to me. I think that's the secret. Cool. Well, let's have a look at some lists. I reckon. Have I seen anyone in chat? What are you feeling towards us magnetized minis who like what we see is what you get? For loadouts, do you think we're just pedantic so-and-sos? No, I respect you. I don't do it myself, but I respect you. Magnets are just too fiddly. I got big hands, and I don't have the patience to do it. Honestly, depending on the time, maybe not at the moment, because finance is a bit tighter than they have been. But in previous years, I'd buy a box and go, if the meta changes, I'm just going to buy another box and have the different weapons on there. Oh, the envy of the, you know, less commitments me in previous years. Vesper says your soul is not black enough for the VIP chat. That's very funny. It's sometimes terrible, sometimes good. Sometimes maybe shit, sometimes maybe good. It's what's stopping you painting 9 balloons to ruin lives. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, in that case, I'll bite the bullet, and you can be awful to me, Ed, so that you're not awful to all of your opponents. That seems fair. Speaking of balloons, I did see Byron in the chat, and I'm assuming, given that they mentioned Cathay, and there's a Byron who submitted a list, which is Cathay, which has balloons in. I'm going to go with them and go from there. So, there was some note here. Rough cut of a list for tournament in September. Can make a few purchases if needed, and you can have proxies in 3D printing as well. But also there's a free frog scroll. A free frog scroll. I'm assuming you don't actually have to have it on someone, because the Shigungan General doesn't actually have point spot to put it on. I guess you just get it somewhere in the list, which is cool. I do like that. I also think, weirdly, your list is quite susceptible to the frog scroll. The general is, yeah, the best kind of frog scroll because you're in pain for it. Yeah, I agree. So, this is a pretty limited version of the balloons list, which I'm keen on. I think it is technically... Oh no, the general's the level 2. The general and lord, for some reason in my head, I get flipped around. I feel like the general should be the top level one. So we've got a BSB, War Banner on a horse, Celestial Blade, that's fine. We've got a general, Iron Talons, Celestial Blade, Heavy Armor level 2, Battle Magic, Learned Feng Shui Bow, Power Scroll. This is a pretty solid, just sort of like low level, I want a wizard that without committing too much. Byron's a mana restraint, pretty like Byron. I'm sure we're going to see some more balloons. Don't we worry about that. Then we've got the Magistrate. So what we got here, Magistrate-wise, we've got Crystal of Kunlan and Morshard, and then we've got Talisman of Protection. So you've got a lot of points here. I would be tempted... Okay. So... I don't hate the loadouts you've gone for. I would like to see a Armor of Meteoric Iron on this caster. On the balloon. In fact, let's go with that now, because I just think it's worth going for. And then this one you've gone for Crystal of Kunlan, Charmed Shield. That is fine. I think I want to see more defense on the... Actually, no, these are backline ones, aren't they? Because you've given them the crane guns instead of the Dragon Fire Bombs. You know, you can probably get away with without the Armor of Meteoric Iron. I really like the Iron Hail guns on these, but I also like this is just a flexible defensive piece that never gives up points and also does some scoring. I think it's not as good, but I also think it's fine. So I think the character slot is fine. The tweaking that I would do is I'd go with the Dragonfire Bombs, the Iron Hail Guns, the Dragonfire Bombs. I'd make them more tanky. Like maybe you drop the Morshard and you go with like one with the Armor of Destiny, one with Talisman of Protection, and the Meteoric Iron as well, and just go as tanky as possible. But there's no harm in not going for it. Lantern Bombs might be a bit of a waste on Crane Guns. I agree. I do like them in terms of it's only 30 points for 2 of them, but it gives you flexibility into big ranked up units. So I think I'd probably put them on. I think it's the most effective flex 30 points you can spend. I quite like them on that. That use. Hello, Tistic. How are you doing there? Helot there, you say. Yeah, I like that. I think we've got Jade Warriors with a Biting Blade. Full Command Drilled Stubborn. Okay, interesting choices here. Are you worried about Ethereal? I'm assuming from the Biting Blade you're worried about Ethereal. Jade Lancers, Alchemist Mask, Full Command, Drilled Stubborn. Yeah, these are fine. Like I think the choices you've made are decent. Double Cannon and then Cathay Sentinel. Okay, so I'm actually not going to make some tweaks to this list. So I'm hoping that that it is the correct Byron that I'm talking to, because I'm just going to talk about some general points. I think the version of the list you've gone for is pretty solid, but I think I would make some tweaks. So I'd go with the 2 Magistrates being more defensively equipped. In that I would give them maybe even like upgrade one to like the Shigungan General to a Lord, the Lord Magistrate and a Strategist, the Strategist Talisman of Protection and Armor of Meteoric Iron, the Magistrate maybe the 4-up Ward Save Heavy Armor. Go down that line here to make them super tanky. Give them both the Dragonfire Bombs and Iron Hail Guns. Keep the Sky Lantern Bombs. Just use these very offensively. This caster, again, probably make it the higher level caster and do the same thing. BSB, I think you can do without, so that's where you could free up some points here. Jade Warriors, I don't think they need the Biting Blade. I think there's other stuff you could put in, like maybe a Ruby Ring of Ruin or something like that. I also don't know that I love Drilled. The Lancers are fine. I like ambush on them, just so you can keep your drops low. Double cannon, love those. Gunpowder bombs, I think, are surplus to requirements, but they're also not terrible, and I don't hate them for 8 points. And then we've got the Cathay Sentinel. This is... I think you put this in because you want this in, as opposed to it being like a super obvious or super optimal choice. Granite is... no fly banner. No fly banner is good, yeah. Immune to multiple wounds and +1 armor save. This isn't awful. I don't hate this as an upgrade. I think if I was taking... in this sort of style list, I'd probably go Jade Sentinel, because you can potentially pick up like a Fireball, or a Wind Blast, or an Oaken Shield, or an Arcane Urgency. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with the Jade Sentinel. But I think what you've gone for is fine. It's just the way that I would be building this sort of list is different. So I'm going to go, just in case it's not the same one, let me just tag at Byron. And it was at, what was it? How long into the stream were we? About 10 mins-ish in. But yeah, I think the list is pretty solid. I just approach some things fundamentally differently. You can also kind of screen the Sentinel with balloons to offset the risk from cannons, so you don't need the granite defense so much. That's true, because the balloons are large targets, and they're just so impossible to kill. God, they're so tanky. It is fully illegal. Fully illegal. But yeah, that's cool. And I love the free frog scroll as well. I think that's a really fun thing that a tournament organizer could do. Just give everyone a really fun magic item that isn't particularly good. Cool. Well, you know what? Since I've just seen you pop up in chat, let's go with Thematic High Elves. And this was Safri, and then there was more text in Discord, because there's a limit to how many words I can put in the notes. Bet you never thought you'd be blocking cannons from hitting a giant stone dude using some paper lanterns. Yep, that is some Warhammer logic. It makes sense. Safri aggressive list. I love Swordmasters and I want to give a try to Safri Honours. I own 26 Swordmasters. Hell yeah, love that for you. My favourite High Elf unit. Like, they're not super worth playing, I think, because they don't score and they're kind of slow. But at base rate, they're just so... Like, I love them in terms of how they play in the game, how they interact with other units. Added a Great Eagle and Frostheart Phoenix for some flying monsters. I know it's not the most beefy ones out there, especially in the mounted, but I want to see how viable foot characters in infantry blocks perform in the new meta. I guess the bolt throwers can go, alone it won't do much most of the time. I hope this will be the occasion for you to master the pronunciation of Hioth. Excellent. Yes, I will correctly say Hioth. Hioth. Bladewing here also. Excellent. Oh, sorry, Hate Bladewing. I don't think I got to yours in terms of the list there. Sorry about that. Swordmasters also look brilliant. Yeah, they're fantastic models, and I love that they're the mono pose, like single sculpt ones. So it makes it so much faster to get them. Vesper, Tistic. It's Hoeth. We all know it's Hoeth. We all know. You know, we can read, right? Hoeth. Swordmasters of Hoeth. That was bait. Yes, indeed. Insert the gif of Mad Max. All right, cool. So let's have a look at the list. What are we working with? So first of all, 15 and 10. We're not doing that. We're going to go a big unit of them. I think that's the only way that this sort of works. I can't see two smaller units working. I don't think two smaller units work, so we're gonna tweak that immediately. So let's just go 25. We can come back and deal with that as well. Let's go musician while we're at it. Drilled is fine. Probably want to put some sort of magic banner on there, but we'll come back to it. Then you've got an eagle, a bolt thrower, and a frostheart phoenix. I don't love any of those, but they're also not terrible. If you're on 26, take them all in a unit of the family. That's a good point. Yeah, you did say you've got 26, so let's put the 26th one in there. I would feel so bad for that last model to just be sat at home, you know. Okay, Silver Helms. There's a big unit of Silver Helms. Ring of Fury, War Banner. Fine. Sea Guard. Okay. Okie dokie. Ah, Byron's here. Couldn't listen live, putting the kiddos to bed. Understandable. Real life doesn't stop. Frog Scroll is outside of any limits or anything else. Excellent stuff. That's good. That's fun. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so we've got the Archmage, who is a level 4 wizard, illusion, opal amulet, power scroll, seed of rebirth, silvery wand. With the sword? Wait, do you not get the sword for free? Sword of Heoth. Okay, so it just doesn't come up here, but I'm assuming that we've got the sword on here, because the sword's great. Like, for anyone who hasn't seen this, it's such a nuts weapon. Strength +2, AP -2, no strikes last. So when you're rocking around with strikes first characters or initiative 6 sword masters who also have elven reflexes, you're just going to be hitting before everyone else, or a lot of the time. Must be bugged for you, it's free. Yeah, it is free. I'm not sure why it's not coming up here. But I think this was a JSON file that I've downloaded, so it might be an issue with the way that's come across. Anyway, I like this this loadout here. Single opal amulet is fine. Power scroll, seed of rebirth. Yeah, solid. I prefer an always-on ward save than a single-use 2-up, but also I don't think you're wrong for going this direction. Noble is Talisman of Protection, seed of rebirth, Lawmaster. That's fun. That is fun. What lore would you be going with Lawmaster? Because you become a level 1 wizard, right? I assume it's probably battle magic, just for Hammerhand. Yeah. I guess so. Okay, let's just assume that is the case. I wouldn't hate a shield on here as well. I know you don't want to be using the shield, but for 2 points, you can get this character up to 3-up armor save if you need to tank someone in a challenge. But because it's an old list, not a problem at all. Then we've got a Noble BSB with Battle Banner. Battle Banner? You're going to pay 60 points for a Battle Banner? Oh, it's not even on there. Oh, it is bugged. I'd be paying 20 more points and going Banner of Resilience, personally, but that's fine. Full plate, longbow. Longbow? Ah, Seaguard. Okay. A Dragon Helm, Ruby Ring of Ruin, Charm Shield with the Banner of Battle Banner. Interesting. Okay, I see what you're going for. So you've got like a moderately decent Death Star. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. Yeah, that's okay. I might also be tempted to go with like a Halberd for 3 points just to get some strikes first attacks in when you're not at risk of dying. So let's just put that on there and you can tweak. Sure, you go full Cav Core, right? Is there anything you can do with High Elf Core Infantry without investing into it? Yeah, you do want to invest into it, so that is going to be one of the issues. But this list, because you're going for the Swordmasters, this list doesn't necessarily want to be super aggressive. It might want to sort of bunker up and push out. Now, this is always going to be worse than just doing the same thing with White Lions in the Tracing Warhost detachment, but that's fine. If you Swordmaster's your pet unit, you can play around with it. However, if we're doing that, let's also just go Ishaya of S to go in the Seaguard. And then the Silver Helms, I think I'd probably be dropping down to like 6 without the War Banner. Putting the War Banner in the Lothan Seaguard or raise standard. Probably War Banner because we've got Ishaya of S in there. And then just bulk up in terms of models. And then we've got... We'll drop the Bolt Thrower. We'll drop the Eagle. The Frostheart Phoenix is like... It's below rate, in my opinion. It is below rate for what you get for the points. But it's also like a standalone ridden monster, which is fine. It can't be challenged out. Yeah, if you like it, it could go in. I think we're basically there. I am going to... Hold on. So we're going to put 2 characters in the Swordmasters. Are we going to go... I like 7 wide. 7, 14, 28. Okay, so 26 is the correct number. Here... What are we dropping to get to below points? Honestly, I don't know that you need the Ring of Fury. Ring of Fury has got worse in a sad way. And also, it doesn't... The Cleaving Blow that you have here obviously doesn't apply to the Hammer Hand you cast. So maybe we just drop that there. Because we've got magical attacks in the unit already, so we don't have to worry too much. I also don't know that this character's adding a huge amount. I'd be more tempted to drop this, go Prince, because you spent 163 points, I think, right? Full plate, shield, Warden of Safri, which gives us the free Sword of Health there. I'm just going to keep doing it every time. And then put a Talisman of Protection on like so. And that is a little bit more expensive. Doesn't have the level 1 casting, but has better leadership, has +1 attack, has +1 weapon skill. And obviously still has strikes first. So I think I like this character more. I'd also maybe tempted to, if you're going to put Hammer Hand anywhere, like Ring of Fury, put it on this character. But yeah, something like this I think works through the lens of what you're trying to do. Now you can do a very similar thing with Trace and Warhost, and I do think that's better if you're just looking for dudes in elite elf infantry. But I also just like Sword Masters, and not everything has to be a tournament list. So yeah, something like that. Surely you go full. Read that one already. If you take the sword, is it a magic item that forces you to use it and prevents you from using shields? No. So it's just a weapon. It's an additional mundane item. It might even give you magical attacks. I can't remember, but it's not a magic weapon. There are. When did this argument come from? Oh, Warriors of Chaos. It came from, where you can have magical attacks from the magical hand weapon, but that doesn't stop you from using a great weapon because you've got magical hand weapon attacks. Is that rule about having to use magic weapons? Yeah, it's in the magic weapons. So that's 2 big blocks with 2 characters each. Isn't that too few units on the field? In terms of it being a legal list, we've got the Frostheart Phoenix, which makes it the 3rd, and then we've got the Silver Helms. I think it'll struggle to play, but the problem is, so you've got 800 points in a slow unit. Swordmasters are slow. They're elves, they move 5 inches, but they're infantry. They have no way of getting where they want to, realistically. They don't score anything, so people don't have to come towards them. And that's the big issue with Swordmasters. Like, I don't see how they play, realistically. Yeah. I'm not telling you to do White Lions, but you can do the same thing with White Lions, and then that unit, people have to come towards you. But when he wins and the opponent reads the list again, he gets social credit. You know what? That's fair. I respect that. I do respect that. Sometimes you just gotta set yourself a challenge, you know? That'd be pretty funny. Alright. Hey, Beowulf, how are you doing today, good sir? Your list, I think you said your list was for a tournament, wasn't it? Now, I'm just gonna go straight to your list, actually, since you're here. When I was putting your list into Old World Builder, I was like, oh, yeah, nope, yep, this is efficient, this is a war crime. It's a pretty good list. I like the choices you made. We'll go through them. I apologize in advance. You shouldn't have to apologize for playing an army the Games Workshop have released. I just hope that they get their shit together and fix it. That's where I'm at with it. Tistic, let me know how it goes. I would appreciate that, because if you can make Swordmasters work, then I'm a happy boy. I do like Swordmasters thematically. The models are fantastic. The best elf models in the game, in my opinion. All right. So, if you want to play a balloons list, look at this very efficient list that Beowulf's put together. There are some tweaks that we can make. However, we've got to start off with a Shigengan Lord. Now, this isn't the general. We've gone Celestial Blade, which is the slightly more expensive option. Strength +1, AP -1, strikes first. It's fine. It's free. You'll pay 6 points for it. Heavy armor gets you up to a 3-up armor save cap. Level 4 wizard, battle magic, Lore Familiar, and Jade Blade of the Great Fleet. In fact, we can take off the Celestial Blade. Aha! Because you've gone for a magic weapon. So, Lore Familiar means obviously you pick your spells. Jade Blade of the Great Fleet obviously means that you've got, basically a great weapon that also gives you regeneration. Was this meant to be an illusion caster? I feel like I've misinputted that. Let me just have a quick look here. It is meant to be illusion. Yeah, because I looked at it and went, yep, that is indeed, truly, one of the spectral doppelganger casters of all time. Perfect. Hold on. 5 manglers are technically legal in list building. Do you know TOs that limit these edge rare cases? I might have dumb ideas. How are 5 mangler squigs legal? What do you mean? What do you mean? Explain yourself. Aren't they a rare slot? So you can only take 2 of them, right? Because rare is limited to 2 of the same unit. You will explain. Please do. This is an exciting moment. While I'm waiting for you to type out your explanation, so as not to rush you. We've got a couple of... we've got a Lord Magistrate and a Strategist. They've both got Dragonfire Bombs, Iron Hail Guns, Dragonfire Bombs on the Lantern, Sky Lantern Bombs. Then you've gone Burning Blade on both of them. I think that's fine. I don't know that it's necessary, but I also don't hate that you've gone for protection against enemy shenanigans. You've gone for the Alchemist Mask and the Crystal of Kunlan. So Crystal is Talisman of Protection, but it bounces back damage in melee if you pass some ward saves. And then we've got the Alchemist Mask, which is a pound level 3 Plague of Rust, which just makes the list so disgustingly good. The Strategist has Talisman of Protection. That's good. The reason that I might be tempted to drop Burning Blade here is you could go Armor of Meteoric Iron. So you could double down on the defenses of these. And again, this unit, this Magistrate, potentially I would drop those 2 and just go for the 4 ward save you can get from the Armor of Destiny. That gives you a little bit more defense. It's whether you feel like you need it. They're already very tanky, but it's just if you make them unable to be interacted with, they are really oppressive. The reason you can do that is you can put the Alchemist Mask on one of these unit of Jade Lancers if you want to. I do like that you've given them ambushes because you can start them off the board, keep the number of drops low. You've got a unit here that causes terror and has the Icon of Heavenly Fury. Icon of Heavenly Fury turns off fly. I like that. This unit causing terror is fine. I think I'd maybe prefer to see terror on the Lancers because then you can actually fly around and terror bomb, but I don't think it's an awful place to have it. And then you've just got 3 Sky Lanterns with Dragonfire Bombs and Sky Lantern Bombs. There's not really a lot to say with this list. This is pretty efficient. It's 5 balloons. 5 balloons. Lots of vamps around. Have you considered putting these Spirit Lanterns on the balloons so you get to reroll your shots against them? It's pretty brutal. Any list can be legal so long as you disregard those pesky rules. Yes, it says they always say Warhammer's really easy if you cheat. Daniel says, I've struggled to find a way to bring the Longma Lord that I like. Yeah, there's a lot of options that you can go for. You can go for like sort of a cheapish dispel / casting threat, or you can go for an illusion caster. Yeah, there's a lot. You had, but seemed a bit much. I don't know. Like, the Cathay are the new villains. Vampire counts are the old villains. Like, I'm not gonna cry a tear if I see someone teching to kill lots of Vampire count players. You know, it is what it is. So, Akonta says, Manglers are limited in list building to 1 per Night Goblin character. All the match play guide limitations says that they do not apply to units and characters that are already limited in army composition. I think that's true. I think that's a very good point. I think a lot of places are going to play around with restrictions. So people are going to say, oh, let's test them. I think restrictions are going to get a little bit more restrictive if Games Workshop doesn't do anything, because balloons are a rare slot choice. We might find people saying, the German comp rules, where it's like, oh, well, you can only have 2 of each rare slot, but also if you take them as a mount, that counts towards the limit. I don't necessarily want to see that put into the game. I think it restricts armies in ways that I don't love seeing them restricted. You can't do fun character mount stuff. There's not really any mounts for characters that you can spam that are abusable, with the exception of balloons. You can't really spam dragons, so rule of 2 doesn't fix that. But, potentially you could be like, oh, I want to go with a load of chariot characters for Nomadic War, or for the Heralds of Darkness style list, and I think it would be a shame to restrict those. The points are so cheap for what you get. Yeah, I was thinking about this. I wonder how many points I'd pay for them, because it's... I've forgotten off the top of my head. Is it 135 base? 135 base. So if we just look at this unit, for what you get, 7 wounds at T5 with a 4-up armor save. That's already so far above rate, I'm not really sure why they get that. They are also obviously heavy chariots. You got strength 5, impact hits D3+1, which is not awful. You know, I can live with that, but it is just worth knowing. This list of rules is so long as well, and that's before you even put characters on them. The fact that they've got a unit champion so that even the non-character ones can challenge is a real problem. I think at 200 points, I'd still be spamming these if I was playing Cathay. And this is where we come in with the problem of people are really good at identifying the problems with the game, but finding solutions is a lot more difficult. I'm not a game designer. I don't know what the right points level for this is. I know it's not where they are, but this feels to me like a unit that you could potentially put up to, like, fully upgraded 250 points. I'm still taking 4. I'm putting 1,000 points into 2 character, or like 1,400 points, 1,300 points, like a couple of upgraded characters on balloons, and then a couple of rare slot balloons. I'm still doing that. So yeah, I don't know. It's an odd one. I think this is a very difficult unit to balance in terms of points because of how much it brings. AP 2 impacts. Yeah. Like that is cool, but speaking as someone who ran Lothan Skycutters, flying chariot D3+1 impact hits at AP2, it's nice, but it's not the thing that you look at and go, oh, this is disgusting. Part of this is surely also the limited roster from Cathay. Without balloons, they're really left lacking. Yeah, they are. And for the competitive health of the game, I'd rather they were undertuned than overtuned, which would suck, given, you know, that people are so jazzed for them, but it's so miserable. And the argument comes around that people are like, oh, we haven't had time to see how they do. Like, I've been tabled so many times by balloons already. Like, I know they're good. I've lost to them a lot. You know, people have been playing games. But anyway, this is not here. We're not here to rant about Cathay. Yeah, I think very similar to Byron's list. I'm not going to make any tweaks here other than taking off the Iron Talons. I guess if you wanted to, you could just put like a Dragonfire pistol on or something. Or like a Charmed Shield on the Lancers. Or a command, you know, something like that. What you tweak is not super important. I like the way that this is formatted. You've got the 3 very aggressive Sky Lanterns here, 2 very aggressive Sky Lanterns here. I would go more defensively on them, but also I think you're absolutely fine to leave it as it is. Not sure you need time to discuss it on paper. We've been playing the game for a while. We know what works. Yeah, it's yeah. No. It's fine. I didn't read it as you being an apologist for balloons. Yeah. All right. We're going to move on from Cathay, but we'll come back to Cathay. And let me know how you get on, Beowulf. I think you could very comfortably win the event with this list. This feels like a pretty tuned version of the list, I would say. So, Vesper says, the people clamour for phoenixes. This isn't true, but, you know, this is what we say. May this be the amuse in all the bouches. A palate cleanser of absolute casual attitude. In all seriousness, I've actually played something similar, and it was fun. That's the first point. As long as it's fun, great. The big idea is get Arcane Urgency if you're lucky, and abuse the double movement for several wakes of fire on infantry blocks and cav units. Fireball, hope you don't get shot while you shoot them. What do you do when a dragon shows up? You probably cry or run away off the board, but that's okay. Dragons aren't fair to begin with, am I right? Oh, this is old news, Vesper. We're off the dragons are bullshit train now. Have been for a little while. It's a themed fun list that I'd like your input on without changing the idea of the phoenixes and the sisters too much. Thank you for putting up with my shenanigans, thinly veiled as themes. No, that's cool. I like it's more interesting to look at. So we've just had a change in the meta, right? So right now, looking at everyone's lists is still pretty fresh. Some exceptions. Bretonnian lists haven't actually changed very much the more I look at them. But it's fun to play around with the new list archetypes. In 3 months' time, I'm going to be seeing a lot of the same list, so I really do like seeing people put in, like, here's my moderately ineffective list under this theme. I want you to keep these units in. They're very important to me. Make it work. I was like, hell yeah, this is a challenge that I can get behind. Alright, so you've got double Flame Spire Phoenix. I need to remember how Wake of Fire works. Let's have a look. Fly over it in the remaining moves. D6 strength 4 hits, AP 1 flaming attacks. It's like balloons, but way worse. But I see what you're going for. It is fly 10, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So your T5 with 5 wounds, a 5-up armor save. Okay. I think the concept works. We've passed the first bar, which is the concept fundamentally works. The people need to know what you're having for dinner and whether it's soup. I just put some chewing gum in. I got this from my local supermarket. Oh, it's not going to show up well. Plastic-free chewing gum. And it's okay. It looks weird. It looks like I've left it in the car for 6 months, but it's fine. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned. Passed my driving test a month or 2 ago. I don't have a car, and I won't be driving anytime soon. I've been thinking about getting a van and converting the back of it so I can drive to events and stay in the back. I think that's probably too much of a money sink, but I think it'd be fun. Your other chewing gum isn't plastic-free. I assume not, given that this one is marketed as. But that could just be standard marketing, you know? Maybe it's the packaging that's plastic-free, and it's just bad chewing gum. It's possible. Just assumed chewing gum was plastic-free. I think you're going to be sad, buddy. The amount of plastic we consume. Vesper says you can do it with 2K. What can we do with 2K? Oh, the van thing. Sorry, because you said 2K, I was like, wait. 2K lists? I'm looking at some 2,600 point lists. I'm really excited to play some bigger games. Obviously, I will be... yeah, I didn't plug him at the start. So, I'm working with Rob. TSN Arena, Honest Wargamer, Square-based. You know him, you love him. His events, he's moved over to using... his own website instead of using Eventbrite, and since then people are struggling to find his events as easily, but he runs great events, yada yada. Shouldn't yada yada that. I've just said it loads. Like, obviously I've been to loads of his events. I really like him. I like the venue. He really tries to make people have a good time. He gives, you free drinks. You can go for a meal on the Saturday night with him. He doesn't pay, but it's a great social event, and I would really recommend going to his events. He's running 2,600 point events, and I think that just sounds really fun. So I'm looking to go to the one in the middle of August. I do need more people to buy tickets, because currently there's 19 tickets available. I don't know if that's just people are busy with the summer holidays or something, but if you are free on the 16th, 17th of August, and you want to play potentially against me, and you want to play big battles, 2,600 points. Everyone who's been to the 2,600 point events at the TSN Arena have said that it's better. Or everyone I've spoken to about it. I don't want to misrepresent. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to start looking at some bigger events, and maybe start putting some bigger point sizes up on the channel as well. If you buy a van, put a solar panel on top. Yeah, good thinking. Also, thank you, Chilo. How many balloons can you fit in 2.6K? I don't want to know. Asa Flavor says, "What does TSN stand for? Something crook?" No, it's the it's like the sport arena or something. TSN Arena. Let's have a look. This isn't going to crop very well into the Dennis says, you would if you didn't live in Phoenix. That's super reasonable. But if you're ever coming to Nottingham, because Warhammer World is obviously a great place to come and pilgrimage to as a Warhammer player, make sure that you time it with an event as well. I think it might be the Team Sport Arena. It's a nice website. I need to get around to making my own website. That's a problem for future me, though. I think it might be the Team Sport Arena. Yeah. Anyway. Getting sidetracked. You normally play 3 to 4K lists when you brawl. That's cool. I think that's bigger than I want. I just want a little bit more juice. And the way that Rob does his 2.6K events is he still limits you to 1,000 points of characters, which I think is interesting. I don't know if I like that, but also I'm not opposed to less Hero Hammer. All right. Let's have Team Sport N Arena. Oh no, TSN. Oh, it might be the Team Sport Network. Yeah, something like that. I haven't even got any excuses. It's not warm. Right, let's have a look at this list. So you've got the Handmaiden, who's the general. So you can have the sisters. You've got the Horn of Isha and the Bow of the Seafarer. Cool. I personally like the Bow of the Seafarer on the High Sister, because the Handmaiden comes with a Strength 4 shot. So I'm just going to tweak that over on the basis of, I think it's just a little bit more effective. So if we go Lawmaster's Cloak, turn that one off, and give it Bow of the Seafarer. It is ever so slightly worse. You've got Ballistic Seal 6 instead of 7, but you've got a flat strength here, and you just get a Strength 4 shot with the Handmaiden. It's like, it's a small efficiency change, but it's definitely worth doing. Tabletop Sport Network. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Terrible Soup Nottingham Arena is a great name. He's not the one who's got a chat who are obsessed with soup, but that's a good name as well. I like that, rat bastard. Okay, so the list is, we've got the Handmaiden, we've got an Archmage here. I do like the Halberd Illusion Caster. Please say you've got Illusion. Oh, you've got Battle Magic. Okay, so this is just for more flying over them. Rebirth, Power Scroll, Silvery Wand, Ruby Ring of Ruin, Anointed Vasurian. Okay, that's fine. That is absolutely fine. I think the way this works just works. What makes me really sad about the Phoenixes, and the reason that I would never recommend them competitively in terms of mounts, look how few wounds you get here. You get your +2 toughness, +3 wounds. That's exactly the same stat profile as a Griffin. You have 3 attacks at weapon skill 5. That's worse than a Griffin. You have 2 stomp attacks as a monstrous creature. That's worse than a Griffin, or comparable to a Griffin, I should say. You get Wake of Fire, you get From the Ashes, you get Flaming Attacks, which is bad, and you get Blessings of Asurin. That doesn't add up to, like, how many points is a Griffin? It's like 130, I think. Yeah, it's not 40 points better than a Griffin. In fact, I'd say that it's maybe arguably worse given the base size. They make you seriously sad. They're your favourite thing in the game thematically. That's super fair. Yeah. So, like, I think they're good enough to play as a fun theme. But if you're looking at this as a High Elf player and you're thinking, oh, why don't people ever go Phoenixes? They're not great. This one giving +3 wounds as well is super sad. Getting to 6 wounds on the back of a Phoenix just doesn't feel quite right when you can have a 9-wound dragon for not many more points. Like, here. 85 points more, you get a Star Dragon. That gives you +3 wounds. And then all of the output of a dragon. It's rough. Anyway, so we got the sisters. Stubborn. I love Stubborn on this unit. It's super important. Yep, this is all good. Silver Helms. I don't think I'd bother with the command. I'd be more tempted to give them like a... Well, maybe... Oh... I don't know. This unit doesn't feel quite right to me. It just doesn't have enough oomph, but we'll come back to it. Dragon Princes. Cool, this is good. Charm Shield, War Banner. I'd actually quite like Magic Resist on this unit, I think. I think it's really important to give this unit Magic Resist, so let's do that. And we're going to have to cut some points somewhere. War Banner's fine on this unit. It's going to hit really hard, so you might not need it, but that's okay. Double Phoenix here. And then we've got the Wizards. So we've got Magic Resist 2 joining the Sisters of Avalon. So your 2 key units are going to have Magic Resist, which is, again, really important. Power Scroll, Lore Familiar, Pure Heart Elementalism. So this is giving you TMP, Plague of Rust, and Earthen Ramparts, I guess. It's fine. I actually think maybe you just go a second Battle Magic Caster and accept that you're on the 4. Because you can't TMP in anywhere near as much success as before. I think just go for 2, like double down on what you're trying to do. These sisters stand towards the back and shoot. They've got the support of a Battle Magic Cast that's going to Arcane Urgency the second Phoenix. I think that's better. Double Phoenix here, he says as he dies inside. It's fine. It's because we've contextualized that this is a thematic list and not a competitive list, and that's super, super fine and super cool, he says, dying inside. I'd love to see Magic Resist on this caster as well, but I don't know if we can fit that in. What if we drop... We don't need the Ruby Ring of Ruin here. I like the Power Scroll, I like the Seed of Rebirth, and I like the Talisman of Protection. You haven't got a Talisman. Ooh. What have you got? Oh, you've got Battle Magic, so you're theoretically getting that as well. Alright, so let's go... If we're making it... If we're... Damn it, Vesper, if we're doing this, we're doing it right. We're going to put Magic Resist on it. Okay. That's 500 points for this model is criminal. Like, this is a war crime. How many points this costs? Jesus, man. Okay. Okay. We're going to have to make some cuts. It's okay. 531 points. The Silver Helms are going to... I guess 6 with a unit champion is fine. And then it can back up this character if it ever wants to charge and not get challenged. For reasons. Dragon Princes. 7 is good. But let's go down to 6 and drop the Charm Shield. We're still 7 points over. What can we drop? And we've lost the Ruby Ring of Ruin. I was going to put it in here, but we can't do that. You know, we can drop... I think we can drop the Lawmaster's Cloak, realistically. We've got Magic Resist 2 on the unit. That's probably just going to be good enough to keep them alive. I know it's a little scary, but if you can't keep them alive with Magic Resist 2, then... Oops. Let's give this character the Ruby Ring of Ruin as well. Nope, that's the wrong one. Okay. We're now 17 points over. I don't think you need the War Banner here. I genuinely don't think you need the War Banner on this unit of Dragon Princes. It's nice, but I think it's surplus to requirements. And that gives us 7 points that we can spend. Which we could then put back the Standard Bearer. And I think this is a better version of the meme. You've got Magic Resist on the character on a, on a Phoenix. You've got it on the unit of Sisters, and you've got on the Dragon Princes. So all of your really important stuff is going to have Magic Resist. They're going to have to target the Phoenixes with Magic, then, because these two models are the only things that really matter that don't have Magic Resist. And if they're hitting them with Fireballs, you're getting a 5-up ward. I think this sort of... You're just trying to make your opponents have as few good choices as possible, right? So I think this does that for you. I love it. You're on a Frost Heart, by the way, not a Flame Spire, so it's inflating the points. Oh, ooh. Was that meant to be... Have I changed it? Did I click this when it was meant to be the Flame Spire? Because let's just go back to the Flame Spire. You've got enough on here in that you've got your T5, but you're still 6 wounds, which is not good. But you've got Magic Resist 2, you've got the Ward Save potentially, you've got the regen as well, so you're relatively tanky here. And that does free up a lot of points, at which point I'd like to put a 7th model back in, which takes us exactly to here. And I think that just gives us a bit more oomph. And going from T5 to T6 on this model either doesn't matter or matters a lot, and if it matters a lot, it was probably going to die anyway, so it doesn't matter. And it gives you another flamey boy that you can float around on. Technical terminology there. I hope you understand. Alright. Yeah. That's a list. That is a list. Alright. How are we doing? We're 55 minutes in, and I've done 4 lists. I've been talking too much. That's okay. Alright, so this is that Rat Bastards list. I did see them in the chat earlier. Not too long ago. Squeak, squeak, motherfucker. I don't feel like this list has any punch, but a drop in the core makes it feel too flimsy. I don't know, work your magic. It's a lot of faith. So, I think you're playing with... This is with Renegade rules, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, Renegade. I think it has some okay punch. Double cannons, double Jezzails. That's not bad in terms of output. Squeak, squeak, motherfucker. Yeah, indeed. Okay. Rattling gun, rattling gun, rattling gun. Giant rats. I think, like, from here down, I don't know if this is how I'd have built the list, because I haven't really thought about Renegade Skaven in 1.5, but, like, this just works. The Jezzails I might be tempted to drop, but for 152 points, 8 shots, that's not bad. It's probably okay. Like, I can live with that. So let's have a look at the characters. So you've got 2... okay, so you got 2 Power Scrolls, Elementalism, level 3 Wizard. This needs a Lore Familiar if you want it to do anything. You can't just dry roll in Elementalism consistently, I would say. But otherwise, this is just consistently going to get shit off. Weeping Blade on a Warlord. I need to remind myself what a Weeping Blade does. Strength user, AP2, magical attacks, multiple wounds, D3, poison attacks. Now, here's a funny thing. Attacks made with magic weapons don't have poison attacks. Now, obviously, the magic weapon with poisoned attacks should have the poison going off. If you go to tournaments, just double check with your TO to make sure that it does work the way that it should. And it's never going to be FAQ'd because it's a renegade. It's a legacy faction item. But yeah, okay, that's fine. Strength 4 is not good though. Even with poison attacks, that's not good. How many attacks do you have? Weapon skills, 6, 4 attacks. Yeah. Maybe there's a... This feels like maybe a potion of strength angle, I think. Chieftain, Grand Banner of Superiority. Sure, that's fine. Obviously, you normally put it on the unit, but in this case, the units can't take those banners. Heavy armor shield. Let's just try and make it hard to kill. Shadow Magnet for -1 to be shot is fine. We go Halberd as well. Engineer. Lore Familiar Power Scroll. I actually don't know that this is worth the points. I think you do more. Drop those two. I guess you can use the Warpstone tokens that you get with the Fireball that you roll. That just feels really rough. Oh, and also we put Lore Familiar on the Grace here, so we have to drop that. So let's just go level 1 Ruby Ring of Ruin, and maybe you cast... In fact, let's not go wizard levels at all. Let's just go naked Ruby Ring of Ruin. That's at 76 points. That's effectively a wizard that you like. My plan was to grab the ward save with him if the elementalism didn't roll it up. Just took me... Oh, okay. Yeah, so we've swapped the Lore Familiar over to the elementalism caster for consistency, because otherwise you're just never going to get it. And here, Ruby Ring of Ruin, I think, is fine. But I think this is fine. I don't think there's really issues with this list. I think it has some semi-decent range punch, especially with a Ruby Ring of Ruin in there. You got triple Rattling Gun, which I do like. We've just left with 13 points. This chieftain should have a charmed shield, as should this warlord. I know you can just move to the back, but still, you definitely want to have them. For how cheap they are, it's just a no-brainer. And that leaves us with 7 points, which I think is just 2 giant rats, right? Yeah. Yeah, something like that I think makes sense. Yeah, I don't think there's really much wrong with your list. It's like a scoring-heavy core that has some not awful output between the Rattling Guns and the Warpfire. Oops, I just almost copy and pasted Vesper's list to you. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, I think this works. It's interesting. The main problem with this list is it's Skaven. I think this has some teeth. This is like I would look at this and go, this is like a B tier list, something along those lines. It has legs. It can do okay at an RTT, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I've got full upgrades here. Yeah. Yeah. 4 up armor save clan rats, lots of combat res, weapons team that can stand and shoot for them. About 80 clans rats worth of teeth. 120 clan rats worth of teeth. You can maybe go like cheaper with giant rats and you go smaller units just for more drops, given that you're high on drops. I also like the Master Molders, actually. I'm not going to go back and tweak it, but maybe it's worth just cutting a couple of points to upgrade to a Master Molder, because Leadership 7 is significantly better than Leadership 6. But, you know what would work? Triple Phoenix, 4 Wakes of Fire per term. That would be one way of doing things.
Appreciative rat emoji.
Thank you, that rat bastard. I appreciate that as well. Rat emoji indeed. My favourite sound. Oh, wait, hold on. You actually type rat emoji as well. We're getting too meta with the rat emojis now. Cool. I guess next, let's have a look at some Wood Elves, because there's a lot of Wood Elves. So we'll have a look at Aethelings. And Aethelings list was a Wood Elf list trying to lean into making a mage with Dirthu's Wrath work in a combat list, which I do like. I think that's really solid. So the core of the list is triple Wild Riders. I don't think I'd bother with standards. I just don't think they're worth the points, and Wild Riders are going to die, so let's not give up an extra 50 points per, because they charged in and got wrecked. Core, 5 Glade Guard with Arcane Bodkins. I like this as your default unit. I think Arcane Bodkins on 5 models that doesn't want to move is pretty good. 12 Glade Riders is beefy. It's a lot of models. I think, and also Drilled and Reserve Move. I'm probably not paying for both. I just like Reserve Move more personally. I do like True Flight Arrows on a unit that moves. We're going to be talking a lot about different arrows, I think, for Wood Elves over the course of this stream, over the next hour. True Flight Arrows, in my mind, are really solid ones. But I think 12 is too many. This unit is very beefy and quite hard to move. Let's just say 2 units of 8. I think that works perfectly. Deepwood Scouts. You can go Arcane Bodkins. I like True Flight Arrows more, and I'd also bump them up just a little bit, because as soon as you take 1 wound on this unit, it can't score, so I'd want to see a little bit more beef in terms of that. Vesper says, in all seriousness, I was very happy about seeing so many Wood Elf lists. Wood Elves are now your main faction. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Wood Elves are fun. I've been working a lot. I think I've got 4 Wood Elf coaching students, which is fun. A lot of people who are like, I've decided that I want to play the hardest army in the game to do well with. I'm like, hell yeah, let's work on that. So, tweaking the core there. Got the Wild Riders here. Eagle, Beast Pack. These are fine screening units. I quite like the Warhawk Riders if we're in Wild Hunt, but I don't really like them in Grand Army, so that's fine. You can play Wood Elves in quite a few different ways. I agree. I think that's really solid. So, we're a lot of points over. Now, we're going to start off with this Spellsinger. You've given them Oaken Stave on a Warhawk, Glamour Weave, Elementalism. That's fine. I think I'm going Illusion here, just for Glittering Robes. Theoretically, that's going to save me. You could, of course, be going Lore of Athel Loren and trying to cast Tree Singing. Tree Singing is now easy to remove, in a way, because you dispel from the template. It's fine. It's theoretically still there. I don't like this caster as a concept, but I see what you're going for. We've got the Spellweaver, which is a level 3 Elven Steed, Battle Magic caster, Heartwood Pendant, Lore Familiar, Double Power Scroll. It's meant to be Dirthu's Wrath, right? Maybe... Oh, because it's Hardwood Pendant. It's not Battle Magic at all. Sorry, I've just not tweaked it here. So we're going specifically for Dirthu's Wrath, which is solid. What I will say is the item here, Sigil of the Witch, the Mage Queen. Yes, this is better than a Power Scroll. So, obviously, we can only take 1 of them, but we're going to go... Oh, no, it's not extremely common. You've got Lore Familiar. Bummer. Just for anyone who hasn't done the maths, +2 to cast is way better than a Power Scroll. So, keep that in mind. Not that we can take it here. Aspect of the Hound. Aspect of the Hound is fine. It gives you reroll 1s to hit, which is not really important here. I'd be going Wild Rider Kindred, because otherwise if you join the Wild Riders, you lose the counter charge. Oh, hold on, let me just double check on the Elven Steed. Yeah. So, by going to Wild Rider Kindred, yes, you have to, you frenzied, but you're going to be joining them anyway. You need counter charge, otherwise you lose counter charge on the Wild Riders, so I think that's really important. This Glade Lord, great weapon, light armor, shield, stag, talisman of protection, dazzling helm. -1 to hit in combat, 2 up armor save. It's got a 5 up ward save. It's got -1 weapon skill and -1 to be hit in a challenge. Aspect of the Bear for +1 toughness and strength, so strength and toughness 5. This is a really solid solo Glade Lord character. I really like it. The question becomes, what do we do to fix this? And I actually think that's too many units of Wild Riders. I think in a Grand Army, I like 2 units of Wild Riders here, and I'd probably like to see more... I mean, I'd like to see another unit of Deepwood Scouts, but I don't know how we make that work. Maybe let's go like this. Oh, it's so many points to cut. We could drop the Beast Pack, because we've got the 2 Great Eagles. Then we have to drop like that's fine. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much was Pillar of Fire spam propping up Wood Elves? Oh, 10. Like, 12 out of 10. It was nuts. Yeah. Maybe something like this would be... I would tweak around with it. Yeah, I think this is a version of your list that I like more. In that it's got more scoring. It's got more consistent ranged output. It's safer because these two units can... just sort of hide around better. They've both got ML1. These two units of Wild Riders will hit hard. You've got the Glade Lord that hits hard. You've got the Spellweaver, who theoretically hits hard if the spell goes off. And then you've got the Spellsinger. I don't love some of the direction that you've gone in, but I think given the direction you've gone in, this is the maximized version. I think this character is a lot of points for something that's not super consistent, and I worry about it. But, yeah. It's not too far off the direction that I would go in terms of writing a Wood Elf list for anyone who is looking to do sort of Grand Army. In terms of Grand Army, what I really like is 2 units of Deepwood Scouts, 2 units of Glade Riders, some heavy hitters like Wild Riders, some screening units like you've got here, and then core, whatever core you want to go for in terms of like stag characters, maybe a dragon. There's a lot of stuff you can do in terms of punch, but I think the core... and the special pretty much line up with what we've got here. Lovely stuff. Let's go with something completely different. And Amy's Strigoi. So Amy is the spider lover of the Discord. And she has said, I've bought Usharan as a Strigoi and Terrorgeist and a couple of big Flesh Eater Court boxes. Happy to consider more models as long as it fits inside the theme of Strigoi, led by my Usharan model. So we're looking for very specifically a Vampire Counts, but Flesh Eater Crypt style list. Do you like high magic on the level 1 for Drain Magic? I hate Drain Magic. People keep telling me it's good. I do not see it because it's a remains in play spell. And given that it's remains in play, before you cast any spells, you get a chance to dispel it. And I just don't see that as being a consistently, workable plan. Okay, so the list is... Vargulfs, I think, are interesting. They are close order, which is good, makes them more controllable. They hit pretty hard. So you've got 4 attacks base, but you've got Frenzy as well, getting you up to 5. You've got Countercharge, which I think is really interesting. And you're kind of immune to being flanked as well, which is, whatever. Your Strength 5. You've got Wicked Claws for AP2. You've also got a good regen. You've got Indom 1. You've got Dark Vitality, so you can march, but you fly, so you can march anyway. Oh, no, I'm talking about my backside. They don't fly. All right, Dark Vitality. They can march, so they're still pretty mobile. I think they're just a really solid model, and they're quite a cheap Terror Bomber as well. Obviously, they're not Screams. They're not the best thing that you can bring as undead, but I think they're solid enough that you can put them on the table and like, this did a lot for me. Vargeist as well, very similar to Vargulfs. These are very, very similar in terms of what they do. These ones have fly. They still have Frenzy, Indom 1. They've got a regen. They're skirmishes, so they're kind of like worse Pegasus Knights. But again, they hit pretty hard. They've got 3 attacks, becoming 4, Strength 5 again, Wicked Claws for AP2. They've got Armor Bane 2 as well, which is nuts. They punch. And they're like moderately tanky. They're 3 wounds at T4 with no armor save, but they've got a 6-up ward save. It's fine. It's a lot of like punch in this list. Fellbats are great. I really like Fellbats. In terms of what they bring, they're very cheap. They've got regen. The swift stride skirmishers, obviously because they fly, they can march. They are only 2 attacks each, but they can hunt down wizards. They can hunt down, like, to tie them up, not necessarily to kill them. They can hunt down war machines. I think they're really solid. And then, even though it's not a normal Scream list, it's got double Banshee in, because obviously. And yeah, it's reasonable. It's reasonable. So let's have a look at how we're fixing it. Crypt Ghouls. I like Crypt Ghouls. Let's go for 2 units of 15. I think that's probably the way. Are fine. I don't hate them. They are only unit strength 1, so I like them less than I did before. Bat Swarms as well are quite expensive for what you get. Now I like them. 5 attacks, but only 5 wounds, which is low for a swarm. I'd be tempted to drop them down I guess let's go to 5 here just to get close to core. We are going to have to cut something, unfortunately, because we are 48 points over. So, what do we got? We got a level 2 Strigoi Ghoul King on foot. Lord of the Night, Supernatural, Horror, Battle Magic. I need to remind myself what Lord of the Night does. Ah, yes, of course. You can res bats. And they've got Terror. Do they not have Terror already? Alright. Level 2 Wizard, Battle Magic, Ruby Ring of Ruin. I don't know that I think level 2 Wizard is worth rolling for. I think we just go Hammer Hand on this character. A second chance to catch Fireball is nice. But given that there's only one damage spell, you're going from a 1 in 6 to a 2 in 6. Instead of, you know, you've got... if you were going for 2 damage spells, you'd have a much better chance of catching something. So I think level 1 here is fine. That's great. Saves us some points. This Ghoul King, level 2 Wizard... Right. Unfortunately, this doesn't work. Unless you're playing Renegades, which I think fixes it. But it can only be taken specifically by vampire counts. So you can't actually take it on a Strigoi because it's not a vampire count, unfortunately. Just an issue with how it's worded. But you can still be a Lord of the Night and res those bats if you wanted to. And that does get us below points here. Skulls is here. Good afternoon to you too. Is there an army that suddenly gained a really deep roster due to 1.5? I think Lizardmen got better. They're the one that sort of leap out to me as the most as getting significantly better. Yeah, and then we're 12 points under, so I think that's just a couple more Cryptghasts. Or one more Cryptghast? This list does not have a lot of tweaking that you can do in terms of points. Not having the ability to give these Banshees the Necromancy spell. Steed of Shadows? Spectral Steed. It's a big downside, a big miss, I think, unfortunately. Yeah, maybe something like this is what I'd say, but I think we should also link the timestamp frame because I think it's worth. Let's have a look here. 105-ish. There we go. But yeah. Interesting. I like the theme on this list, and because it's vampire counts, it's still just going to be good anyway. Maybe going for a bigger unit of open order crypt ghouls would be a better way of doing things. So definitely one way we could go. Is it worth keeping Ruby Ring of Ruin on the Hammerhand Strigoi? I think that character's just going to sort of dance around and be annoying more than anything else. Gives it some flex so you can do some damage at range. Okay, let's have a look at Jork AIF's Orcs and Goblins. I don't think there was any text accompanying this. This was just an Orcs and Goblin list. So what do we got? We've got a big hint of Orcs, which I don't think is necessarily where I would want to be. I'd prefer more Night Goblins, but it's got Night Goblins, it's got Black Orcs, it's got Boar Boys, it's got a Mangler Squig, and then it's got some characters. In a really weird... Oh, they've been renamed. Okay, that's fine. So, top to bottom, Wyvern, TOP, Trollhide Trousers. Yeah, this is just an efficient character. I like this war boss. Then we've got a war boss level 3, Lore Familiar Battle Magic. This feels fine. You're going to put them in with the Black Orcs of the Orc Mob, so you're getting the +1 to cast from mob rule. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you need anything else. Orc BSB. I'd like a banner on here. And some armor. Oh, you've got Dead-Eyed Armor, Charmed Shields. Okay, so Dead-Eyed Armor gets you to T6, right? I think they start at T5. Let me just double check. Yeah. Gets you to T6, gives you a 3-up armor save with the shield. Single use 5-up ward save. Yep, okay. Like that. Great weapon. Solid. Yeah, can't complain too much. And then we've got a level 1 Night Goblin, Caster, War Magic, Fungus Wine, Power Scroll. Oh, this is Itchy Nuisance with a Power Scroll. Okay, yeah, all the characters make sense to me. I like what you've gone for here. Black Orcs, full unit. There's no magic resist in this unit. That is a shame. In fact, the Dead-Eyed Armor, we're going to change that. We're going to change it over to the Armor of Mork because it gives you magic resist 2. I know it's only heavy armor, but if you're using hand weapon shield, you're still at a 3-up save because of the parry rule. And magic resist 2 is really important. So, this unit, big red raggedy flag, and you just give them all shields and great weapons. We can drop this to 9 and 9, but I'm going to leave it as it is. you know, some people feel certain ways about Motley Crue, which is super reasonable. Orc Mob 35, magic resist 1, war banner, full command, light armor, shields, biggins. I mean, I don't like this unit, but for what it is, this is probably the best way to run them. So let's just leave it as it is, you know. And they're T4. They've got a 4 up armor save in combat. They're not awful. They're not awful. These Night Goblins are great. Love that. These Boar Boys, level 7, biggin shields, heavy armor, cavalry spears. Yeah. No, this is a good unit. This has a lot of punch in it. The Chariot, I can take or leave the Chariot. I'd rather have a second Mangler Squig, honestly. I'm gonna change it to a second Mangler Squig, but if you watch this back and you don't have a second Mangler Squig, feel free to put the other Chariot in. Oh no, the capped on characters. God damn it. It's the Night Goblin restriction always catches me out because I'm so used to doing it for the Fanatic units, but not for anything else. Alright, well, we've got points here, so let's just go plus an extra model. Probably not Frenzied. We've got 5 points here. Do we want to give anyone a Charmed Shield? I think you've got it already, right? And give the unit champion a Charmed Shield? Potentially, yeah, and then we can just drop a shield here. I can't tweak that at all. Alright, we're just going to leave it as is. I took Veterans off by accident. But yeah, I think what you've got here is a pretty solid baseline Orcs and Goblins list already. I would go heavier into Fanatics, and then also Doom Divers are really good. Not having any Doom Divers, I think, is a downside for your list. But if you don't like them, I think the things that you've got are pretty okay. It's a pretty solid middle of the line list, in my opinion. Okie dokie. What are we up to here? Just a reminder, if you're here and you haven't already, please do give the stream a thumbs up. Helps me get picked up by the dreaded algorithm. We're going to go for another Cathay list while we do that. So, Jean Valette says, I want to try a list with 2 Sentinels, and this is what I've come up with so far. Don't know where to shave points. Arcane Agency, the 2 Sentinels, and very much open to other changes. Yeah, okay, so I like the... Yeah, here we go. I like the Jade Sentinels. I think that's absolutely fine in terms of what you're going for. As you point out, Arcane Urgency, or theoretically Oaken Shield, I think is probably what I'd be going for on them, just to give them some defenses. Double Cannon with Ogre Lotus is good. 1 Sky Lantern here, because it'd be rude not to, you know. Yeah, that is just a solid unit. And then we've got a Lord and a General. We only need to shave a couple of points. The Lance is not significantly worse than the Blade. The Blade has Strength plus 1 AP minus 1 strikes first. The Lance has Strength plus 1 AP minus 1 Armor Bane 1. So you don't have strikes first, but you do get Armor Bane. You can only use it on the turn you charged. So we can shave points there. That's pretty comfortable. Pretty comfortable. In terms of the core, what we got for Banner of the Bastion? That's the stubborn banner, right? Oh no, it's the faux magic resist banner. That makes sense. I would like to see stubborn on them. I think stubborn's really important. Then we've got the Lancers, one with the Alchemist Mask and one without anything. Both of them with ambushes. Yeah, I guess you are okay with this one starting on the board. Yeah, and then I think we just go like this. 16 without... Oh, man. Oh, is it really 2 points per model for stubborn? That feels rough. Is it standard of Wei Jin that gives you... Yeah, no worries, Vesper. You enjoy your weekend, I hope. Yeah, I think this is fine. I think, again, what you've gone for, within the limits of you fit in 2 Sentinels, I think this just makes sense. Double Cannon seems to be where people have landed, typically, for Cathay. Only 1 Lantern is probably too low, but, again, that's fine. No one's going to be sad about that. And then just some slight tweaks here. I don't think I've got much to tweak for it. One of the downsides of Cathay is they're so limited in terms of the options they can bring. it's hard to... Oh, hey, Peter. Yeah, the banner of the Bastion is the Shield Wall banner. Oh, is it just incorrect in here? Is it just got the incorrect text? Oh, yeah, that's the Dragon Eye banner. Okay, yeah, sure. Shield Wall makes more sense, yes. 25 points for stubborn. I like that more than the Magic Resist, but I couldn't find the points for it. Yeah, I don't think there's much to change here. If you're playing within the limitations you are, I think you've done a good job at making that efficient. Potentially, you could also drop like points on the characters here in terms of what you've gone for. In terms of the Monkey King's Wisdom, I don't know that I care about that. Yes, it hits really hard, but I'd probably rather have the Jade Blade of the Great Fleet. It doesn't hit as hard, but it gives you the regen. But you could do like some tweaks here and maybe put another balloon in. But I think your list is pretty optimal for the restrictions that you've given yourself. You know. Cool. What do we got left? We've got some Warriors of Chaos. We've got some Beastmen. We've got a doubles list. We've got some more Wood Elves, some more Orcs and Goblins, and some more Warriors of Chaos. Alright, so 2 Warriors of Chaos lists. I think we need to look at least 1 Warriors of Chaos. Let's have a look at Gandifloss's list. My new take on Warriors. I've decided to cut the infantry and go for this kind of build. Unsure about the quality of characters, and if the list has enough staying power. I've been talking to people here in the disc as persuaded towards the Shartak. Oh yeah, I remember this. So there's... Yeah, this is not the one I thought it was, that's fine. Plus, if you arc in urgency the balloon, you can bomb twice. Yeah, you can, but please don't. Oh no. Okay, so if we have a look at this Warriors of Chaos list, we've got a dragon, great weapon, Nurgle, Favour of the Gods, regen. It's fine. I'd like a second favour on here if we can. We'll put it on and we'll come back and see if we need to tweak. Then we've got a Sorcerer Lord, Marker Zinch, level 3, Demonology. Why Demonology? Okay, if you're doing that, we need to either go level 4 or go for Lore Familiar, because you're planning on playing around with Demonic Vessel, Demonic Vigor. It's so key that you get this spell that you shouldn't really be rolling it. I think I'd give up on... Yeah, let's just go Lore Familiar here. You're obviously using it as a buffing piece, so let's just make sure we're doing that. And if we're doing that, we're also going to put a Power Scroll on there, because it's important that we get the spell off. In fact, hold on, before I do that, what do we got? Undivided, Undivided, Undivided. Huh. Maybe it's not doing that? I think it has to be, right? I'm assuming that it's you taking it for Demonic Vessel, because you can't go double signature spell, so I don't see why you'd go Demonology otherwise. But Marker Zinch here isn't doing anything for you, so we can just go back to Undivided. Then we've got a Chaos Lord with Shield, Marker Chaos Undivided, Steed, Favour of the God, Ogre Blade. Again, I'd like another Favour of the God here. I'd also really like to see Marker Nurgle. Like so. 43 points too many. 43 points too many? How have we ended up here? Oh yeah, no, that's how we've ended up here. Huh. That's a lot of points too many. A lot of points too many. Okay. You do have to make some sacrifices when you're going for this sort of setup. Okay, so we have to drop the Power Scroll. That's not going to fit in. I think we drop the Marker Nurgle off the dragon. Like, don't get me wrong, it's good, but I don't think it's as good as Lore Familiar. Like, Lore Familiar just makes the list work in a way that the Marker Nurgle doesn't. So I think we have to tweak like that. Then we've got 8 Knights, Brazen Collar, good stuff. Horseman, Warhounds, Droga, Wolf Dragon. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it has a lot, does it? But it has pressure. It has Double Dragon, it has the Chaos Lord. I'd maybe be tempted to go slightly bigger on these Chaos Knights, but I think this is fine. I think I would just drop this. Like, I think that's 95 points that you could put into putting in, theoretically, another unit of Marauder Horsemen, you know? Like a third scoring unit like this, or theoretically making the Brick of Chaos Knights bigger. Like, I like that more. This feels better, you know? Can put a musician on there. And yeah, leaves us with 5 points, but there's not really anything to spend 5 points on. Charmed Shield here. Yeah, something like this, making the Chaos Knight Death Star more beefy instead of the Shartak, I think is better. I don't love the Shartak in the modern game. I don't. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but it feels to me like it's something that just doesn't actually do much. It's outlived its usefulness, you know? Yeah. We'll see. Like I say, I'm yet to be impressed by them when I see them on the tabletop. Let's move on to... I almost missed that one. I think we've got 2 Wood Elf lists. Darok's Wood Elves. Just to explain the wizard, I had no idea where to put him. Ah, Christian, is this you? Are you Gandifloss? So, in terms of the wizard, you do one of 2 things. You either go Lore Familiar, Demonic Vessel, which is what we've got here, and it's on a steed. I panicked for a second there. Or you go Mark of Tzeentch. You go level 4, you give them a spell familiar, you go battle magic, you go double casting with blue fire, and you put them in with some Tzeentch Marauder Horsemen. Those are the 2 ways that I see him being used. I think buffing him here means him, like, the Lord gets supercharged. Because even before you roll on the Gaze of the Gods table, you're looking at what? 6 attacks at strength 8, AP 3, Armor Bane 1, D3 damage with the Ogre Blade. That will just kill things. Yeah, I wasn't sure if he's solo Marauders. Yeah, if you want to have him as a caster, then you go level 4, Spell Familiar, potentially Ruby Ring of Ruin if you can fit it in, Mark of Tzeentch, bunker him with some Tzeentch caster, Tzeentch Horseman, job's a good one, and he can run around and cast. Alright, let's have a look at this Wood Elf list. Yeah, so this Wood Elf list I don't love. I see what you're going for, but I think there's things in here that I would tweak. So we've got a Warhawk Glade Lord who is aspect to the bear, so they are T5. I think the Warhawk gives you +1 toughness, right? Let's just double check. Yeah, +1 toughness. But you're still only 3 wounds. You got a great weapon, a bow, and the bow Loren. Oh yes, no, that's right. You didn't need the bow. So you're doing 4 shots with the bow Loren. That's not good. It's a lot of points for a character that can just be picked off very easily. I don't think this works, unfortunately. This character here, Scout Kidrid Oakenstave, I think this does work. I like it. The Spell Singer, time to adjust the pre 1.5 list to keep painting to a minimum. That's fair. Yeah, alright, so we're going to get rid of this then. This Spell Singer here, Lore Familiar Elementalism, I don't know that I love this in terms of, you're obviously going for the Elementalism Plague of Rust. I guess we can do it with a Power Scroll. I worry that it's really hard to get Plague of Rust off, especially through Magic Resist with a level 3 caster, but I don't hate it. Obviously, the Waystalker here, Swift Shiver Shards, Ruby Ring of Ruin, of course. I'm sure you know, and I think the Ruby Ring's here just because it's an efficient place to put it, but you can't use the Hawk-Eyed Archer rule with the Ruby Ring of Ruin, which I'm sure you're aware of, but just in case anyone is watching this and goes, oh, that's a good combo. Into core, Glade Guard, 5 of them with True Flight Arrows. I think I'd go with these ones. I'd probably go Bodkins, because they're going to stand still. And then the Glade Riders with the Banner of the Hunter King. I think you're onto something here. I think this is good. I'd go a little bit bigger. I think the sort of floor that I'd go with is 6, and I like a musician on them because this is the sort of the unit that runs away. And True Flight Arrows as well, I think is a great choice. So I think the bones of this Glade Rider unit is really good. The Deepwood Scouts I like. I'd go probably 12 or 14, because you want to have more... You want to be able to take a small hit and still be able to score. These ones I'm probably going True Flight Arrows, right? Because they're going to be theoretically running away a lot over the course of the game. And that's where you're really doubling down on the Elementalism casting. You're watching the stream behind and not live. Oh dear. Yeah, so then you've got loads of Deepwood Scouts with bodkins here, and I think these small units with bodkins make sense. I can't remember if it's a WTC rule, if it's a normal rule. If you've got, if you can take a unit in multiple slots, are you limited? I thought you were limited, but I might be just combining it with the WTC restrictions because they've added additional stuff. You know what, let me just try and find my match play guide. I really need to have a clear out of my downloads folder. It's a real mess here. There we go, match play guide. How risky is fire and flee? For infantry, very. For anything with swift stride, not so risky. If you've got feigned flight as well, so you auto rally, it's a lot less risky. It's nice to have. Like, it's conditionally useful, you know? That's what I like about it. Okay. Let's have a look here. I don't think... Okay, I don't think there's anything saying that you're restricted for taking units in other slots. Okay, I think that's fine then. Obviously, balloons have failed flight, so that's fantastic. Oh, yeah, of course they do. Of course they do. Just more rules. Stop talking about balloons. Okay, so this is solid here. These are fine. Wild Riders, I like 6. Just it feels like you can take a couple of wounds and still have some punch, which is solid there. And then I think the Tree Man goes away, unfortunately. I don't see the Tree Man adding much to the list. Easiest way to clear out your downloads is to delete the 100 GB work subfolder. The one that I would have labeled work, which is just like my videos folder, might well be 100 GB because I don't clear out my old exported videos before I upload them, so I probably should go and do something like that. Waystalker, obviously not a super efficient choice in the previous version of the game. I think it's better now, right? It feels like not good, but having good, ignoring cover, having better ballistic skill, it feels better now that Hagbane tips are bad. I also think the Way Watchers here don't want Swift Shiver Shards. I think they want the Bodkins. I think you just want the quality, not the quantity. I think I'm also saying go Sentinel, right? Because you get +1 ballistic skill. Yeah. For 6 points, that might be worthwhile. I'm not sure about that one. We'll maybe tweak that if needs be. Yeah, Ed, when you've got a YouTube channel with over 300 uploads, then you can maybe get away with saying that that's what your work folder is. But until then, you're going to have to, I don't know, delete your porn. Okay, so we do still need something else. So we need a screening model for these Wild Riders. So theoretically, like the cheapest consistent screening unit that you can put in is a Great Eagle. I don't hate that at all. The core is fine. I wouldn't hate a second unit of Glade Riders like this, theoretically. But then we get quite squeezed on points. Obviously, they wouldn't be able to have the Banner of the Hunter King, but you could do the same thing like this. While the Scout Kindred is cute here, I like it more on an Elven Steed. Just on the basis of... You've got Glade Riders that you can put it in, so you may as well. And also, let's give it a level 4 upgrade, because you're dry rolling battle magic spells, so you may as well. As always, you know, use as much or as little of this as possible. It's you know, these are thoughts, and use them as you so wish. Shooting Lord with Bowler aspect the boar, sinking units of Glade Guard with Razor Standard. Like on paper, sounds fun, and then you do the maths for it, and you're like, oh, he doesn't do much. Which is, like, for the points. He, you know, what is it? 4 shots at strength 5 with no AP. So, Armor Bane 3. It's just not, like, if you're looking at high strength shooting, you need to pair it with good AP, typically. So that worries me. I want it to be good, Martin. I really want it to be good. Hence why I've done the maths on it. It just makes me a little bit sad. I think we maybe drop one of these units of Deepwood Scouts and we put in like a boar captain. Well, not a boar, great stag, bear. You don't have to go too nuts on the points. You could go something like Helm of the Hunt, Talisman, Great Weapon, Shield, Longbow. It's 300 points. Oh, that's so many points. But he does back up the Wild Riders pretty well. He doesn't join the unit, but he backs them up well. And I think in this case, we'd like theoretically drop the smaller unit there. Do I like the 12 or the 6s more? I actually think I like the 6s more, which is going to sound weird because I know they don't score. But I think just having the flex of the small units of 6 feels really good, right? Like this. And then I just need to shave 13 points off the list. I think this character can go on foot. I don't think we need the Elven Steed here. Plague of Rust is quite a long-range spell. Yeah. I think this feels about right. Obviously, there's a lot of changes there from what you had. Sorry, Anthony. I do like it's a lot of setup for each list because I've got to put them in each time. Just need to get those lists in before submission cutoff. Which I think might be difficult for your time zone, obviously, because you've had issues. But like, you know, you're welcome to shoot me a message. You have done before. If I go like so, there we go. Something like that. I think that's right. Yeah, perfect. So, like, I think this list feels solid, and it has a lot of punch. It's like the most, obviously the Glade Lord is the general as well. I didn't click that button, but like this list, I think has the most punch in terms of it's got a lot of shooting. It's got a good amount of Arcane Bodkins. It's got the Way Watchers that have Arcane Bodkin shooting as well. Like maybe you drop these 120 points of Way Watchers and 146 points of Way Stalkers and just put more scouts in. That's probably a better use of your time. But this is the sort of, like, rough vibe I'd be going for in terms of shooting heavy. Okie dokie. Well, let's have a look at doubles. So, Nick has put in a doubles list. I'm not... Okay, I'll have a quick look at this. Doubles is harder to tweak around with. But so you've got a dwarf list, which is a king... who is 2 Runes of Fury, 2 up armor save, and immune to Killing Blow. Then you've got the Runesmith, Master Rune of Grugni. Okay, so this is just the standard, like, super tanky combo. It's Runes of Fury instead of the Rune of Smiting, because it's not... I'm not sure why, actually. I guess maybe they're more worried about dealing with enemy infantry. But it's a 6 attack, great weapon. Then we've got Longbeards, which is Passage, Furnace, Speed. That's good. And then we've got Passage here. Courage, Battle. Battle. No Rune of Courage on this unit. It does worry me. I would want to see Rune of Courage on there. Like so. Let's find some points for it. And then we've got a Dwarf cart. Yeah, I think this is good. I think we just go something like this. I don't think this one needs very much tweaking. I think just making sure that both have the Rune of Courage is really important. So let's go... it's Nick S. Oh. My Discord shut down. Alright. I'll leak that in a second. Okay, going back to the last one. The Waystalker is the sexy. I love the idea of Waystalkers. Like, thematically, Wood Elves are one of my favourite armies. I used to love them in terms of old fantasy. And... I had I want to say it was the 6th edition Wood Elf book, and I spent so long just sort of like reading through and thinking about like elf shooting lists. But yeah, so something like that, and then if we have a quick look at the other side, the Wood Elves. So this is a stag. Okay, I really like this loadout. I would like to see it with magical attacks, though, so we're going to put a Resplendent of Luminescence on there. I think it's really important to... Oh, it's over points. We can't do that. Bummer. Okay, so what do we got? Great Weapon, Shield, Stag. Okay, I think annoyance is more important, and we just don't worry about the ethereal. Then we've got a level 1. Why are people going with Warhawk characters? I don't get it. I don't think it's good. But fair enough. I guess it's the people have spoken. Wild Riders, 7 of them. Yep, this is some good punch. I don't think this list needs tweaking. I think this is fine. I wouldn't put the Lord's Bowman in here. I guess they could, because you can just challenge out an enemy unit. Yeah. They're open order. I think they're fine. Does this need any upgrades? I'd like a musician on there. I'd rather have the musician than the Lord's Bowman, but I don't think there's really much that needs to be tweaked there. So that was nice and easy. I can just post that one in as well. Yeah, no, I think those two lists feel pretty solid, honestly. You've got some good fast punch with the Wood Elves. You've got some good ranged or like some decent ranged output with the Wood Elves. You've got a wizard there for Oak and Stave. Yeah, lots of good stuff. A Warhawk's not a bit risky in the world of the no-fly items. There's a lot less of those. Like, people aren't putting them into all their lists now because they're once per game. So you can start actually thinking about taking stuff like Warhawks. I just don't love the Warhawk Rider with no support. I don't think that makes much sense. Let's go on to Calamity's Warriors of Chaos list. So, this was... testing list at the moment, playing around with Knights or Forsaken in Core. Same thing with Demonology and Battle, both have their pros and cons. I thought I liked Forsaken in Core. I think I don't, because they don't have shield. Got a 5-up ward, but I think I'd just rather go with Warriors instead of Forsaken. For how many points you're paying? 19 points per model. It's a lot. What are we talking? I'm not giving Warriors a mark, so we're talking 14 points a model. Yeah, so 5 points less for a warrior. You've got a 3-up save instead of a 5-up, 5-up. That's going to math out roughly the same a lot of the time, because AP2 is pretty typical. Yeah, I prefer Warriors over Forsaken, but I see why people like Forsaken. They do have some good rules in there. Stubborn. They've got Furious Charge. They've got a lot of attacks, theoretically. They can theoretically... Test. Should be back now. Sorry about that. Don't know what happened. My microphone's been on the blink a little bit there. Yeah. I have no sound and I must ears. Well, I don't think I missed much there, but yeah. Warfire Dragon, good. I like the direction that he's gone with the Dragon Ogres here. So, normally you wouldn't go with a Shartak in a unit, but he's going for the Sorcerer Lord, Mark and Nurgle, level 4 Wizard, Demonic Mount. I don't think it's meant to be Battle Magic. I think that's meant to be Demonology. I think I've just not put that across correctly, right? Let me just double check. I know he's talking about both, but I think it said Demonology in there. Yeah, he did have Demonology on his list. So Demonology obviously gives them +1 strength, attack, and AP. I don't know that you need that on the Dragon Ogres, honestly. I'd maybe be tempted to go Battle Magic or Dark Magic. Battle Lust really supercharges Dragon Ogres, so I'd probably just go with Battle Magic there. Talisman of the Carrion Crow is fine. I'd be putting Crown of Everlasting Conquest on this one, because the attacks on this model are less impactful than the other. I'd also be putting a Brazen Collar on there. Like, you can give this character magic resist, so like I think it's super important to do so. Favor of the Gods is fine. Spell for Molly is fine. I don't think there's anything else. Oh yeah, Armor of Meteorikine is solid as well. Obviously this puts us over on points, but we'll tweak. I don't know how we're going to tweak. What do we drop? Like, maybe we just drop... Meteoric Iron doesn't feel good to drop. I just think magic resist on this unit is so valuable. What if we go back to what we had? Because that was... Oh. Should be 21 Forsaken, right? Forsaken by Khorne. And that put us at a few points less. So we've got... Iron... We can drop the Favour of the Gods. I'm not super worried about rolling on this character. In fact, I probably wouldn't, because giving that unit stupidity is so risky. Then we've got the Exalted Champion, who does need to have the Talisman of the Carrion Crow, just to swap that over. I think it's more impactful to give this character the poison attacks. Yeah. Nurgle's fine, but we could probably drop it. We do need to shave 14 points. How do we make that work? Theoretically, we get down to 500 points here, and we drop the Mark and Nurgle. That would do it. This unit can't lose any points. This is such an awkward amount of points here. What if I go... Then we're 15 points under. I think maybe the answer is that we drop the Warhound, one unit of Warhounds, and we go like this, and then we go Marauder Horseman. Is there any way to get them? Oh, it's such an awkward amount of points. Because we don't need to be... We need to be exactly 500, right? Is there a way? 508. So if we go down like this, and then we're 11 points shy, we could theoretically go Marauder Horseman and Shields. There we go. Nope, I've really fucked that up. Shields and Javelins, or Throwing Axes are probably better. 501. How can I not get this right? Oh, because there's 6 models in the squad. I guess it's got to be... I guess it has to be the Standard Bearer, which is so sad because I really don't want to give this unit standard. Theoretically, we just go something like give 1 unit poison attacks, and then we drop Mark and Nurgle here. Like, that feels like a better way of getting where we want to be. Because I think... what does that unlock? What was the reason we did that? Oh yeah, magic resist on the Sorcerer Lord. Can we give this guy magic resist as well? No, there's no way, is there? Not without... Oh! BSB is completely unnecessary. Magic resist on this character is really important. There we go. Now we've got 5 points, and we can... Because we've got that, we can theoretically unfinagle this and just go back to what we were doing before. Like so. Yeah, there we go. That fits more in line with what Calamity had, and I think that just works. And that way your 3 main battle line units all have magic resist. The Forsaken don't, but there's nothing you can do about that. But they've got a ward save, right? So they're a little bit more immune to what they've got there. Hey, Ian, how you doing? Been busy painting Blackguard. Are they good yet? No, they are not, unfortunately. If it is infantry are good if they are core, and outside of that, it ain't it, I'm afraid. It ain't it, I'm afraid. Well. I think we've got Beastmen, we've got Wood Elves, and we've got Orcs and Goblins. So let's have a look at this Beastman list here. El Porro's Beastman list. Goddamn, one day. Yeah, next edition maybe, if they still exist. Craig's pickup games all come with Wood Elf list. I know it's a lot of work. I own everything but Warhawks. Nope. Clicked El Porro's list. Best score, Death Star, Illusion Honor, Wizarding Hat, BSB for potentially -2 to hit, penalties at melee, and -3 on the Beast Lord. Is it good? Probably not. Okay, cool. So it's a anti-shooting, anti-melee Death Star. Okay, I immediately hate this. The 2 Dragon Ogres. I'm gonna just get rid of it entirely. It might go back in, but okay. So the Gigantic Spawn. These are good. Herdstone's great. Raise Gore, Gore because you have to. Best to Gore here. You may as well give it a great weapon. It's free. You don't have to use it, but you may as well have it. Okay, so the Beast Lord is full plate and bedazzling helm. So you've got a 3-up armor save, 2-up armor save because of the shield. Then we just got the hand weapon and we're relying on foe render. Okay, interesting. Slug skin for -1 to hit. Okay, so the Beast Lord is very hard to hit. I see what you're going for. That's interesting. Is it better doing it with... I'd say it's better doing it with a Doom Bull, right? Is there a reason not to do it with a Doom Bull? You can do the same stuff. You go bedazzling helm, full plate chaos armor. You've got a higher base strength as well, so the hand weapon has more value. Shield. Like, obviously it's more points. It's significantly more points. It is almost 100 more points. Oh, wow, that's a lot. Is it worth 100 points more? Probably not, actually, if you're not making use of that better strength. Interesting. It's a bit upsetting. Wargore, heavy armor, Wizarding Hat, Charm Shield, Pentahill. Yeah, this is fun. I like what you've gone for. Stacking loads of modifiers to be hit. Then we've got the Brave Shaman, Chalice of Dark Rain, full plate chaos armor, and Elementalism. No Hag Tree Fetish. Vas. Like, this is fine. I like this. But this is necessary. Hag Tree Fetish is so good. What are we messing around with here? What do we got that we didn't need? We don't need the full plate chaos armor. We definitely want the Hag Tree Fetish. Demonology, like, not Demonology, just, like, you might give yourself a ward save with Elementalism anyway. Hag Tree Fetish is just, like, I think non-negotiable if you can put it into a list. I don't see why you'd ever not take it. The Bestigor are good, the Gorehead are good, the Razorgore are good, and then we just need to fill the points with remaining pieces. Honestly, Beast Lord's a Beskar core. Yeah, no, that's a good shout. I'd forgotten that. But also I'd looked at the 98-point tax of being the Doom Bull instead of the Bestigor, and I was like, oh, okay, that doesn't make it. I think it's just another 142 points of core, right? That makes sense to me. So I think this unit at 12 doesn't do much, but if you put it up to like 24, can just sit on a point and hold stuff on their own as scoring. And then you've got, let's go a little bit lower. Like, they're just like another Razorgore or something like that. This feels better. What happens when the enemy unit ends move on Fanatic? It says in the Fanatic text, I think. They take damage and it moves out. I would also probably give this guy Charm Shield, just with those 5 points remaining, something like this. Where's it gone? Shield of Charmed. Sorry for the double message. No, don't apologise. Are Bestigor worth taking now? Maybe. Oh, we can't put a Charm Shield on this character, can we? Because he can't buy shields. Yeah. I don't know, because you can't take shields on them, which makes them a bit rough. It's hard to say. It is hard to say. You know what? You know what we can do? We can put the Chalice on the Bestigor character. I don't think there's any reason not to. It's not a leadership test, is it? Yeah, it's just guaranteed. So you just use it turn 1 anyway, so you may as well put it there. And this character may as well also have the Ruby Ring of Ruin if we can fit it in. Just for the ranged output. Because this is the sort of list that needs to be able to pick off stuff at ranged, in my opinion. And then we probably... Oh, I've gone too heavy on them because I've put the Chalice of the Dark Rain in. Why are they so expensive? These are like the same points as elves. That's so sad. Alright, we'll take that off and just go back to being sub 500 points. Yeah, I don't know. Where's the ruby ring? There we go. Chalice, yeah, like that. I think that's probably... Yeah, something like that. I think I think the only main tweak I've done is take out the unit of 2 Dragon Ogres, which I don't think we're going to do very much. Added a little bit more scoring, and then made sure you've got Hag Tree Fetish in there. But I think, like, the bones of it made sense, you know? Has Ruby Ring of Ruin not fallen out a bit? My initial thoughts were Ruby Ring of Ruin is now terrible, and then I've played with it, and I'm like, okay, I still really like this, so I can get rid of like the skirmishing models. You also don't have to kill things, so if you're playing against like Wood Elves or Tracing Woodsmen or whatever, there's going to be lots of like 12 to 14 model skirmishing units that are quite hard to interact with because they're going to be in a wood and they're going to be skirmish. They're -2 to shoot at with ballistic skill. Ruby Ring of Ruin, they're not going to have magic resist, so you're going to potentially get fireball off on them. You only need to get them to 9 models, and suddenly that unit does not score points, and that's going to be absolutely huge, and I think really worth putting into your list. 35 points for Ruby Ring of Ruin to potentially stop your opponent racking up 300 more points on secondary scoring from a unit of Tracing Woodsman. Very valuable. Best score champs can only take 25 points of items. Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, I walked back from that anyway, because it messed up the points there, but... Oh, because it's 25 points of magic items, 25 points of chaos mutations. Yes, that's it says there. I just didn't read it. Well, that's my thinking on that one. Yeah. Let's have a look at Matthias's Orcs and Goblins list. Oh yeah, I remember this. So this is what did Messiah say? Flavorful army, goblins with bows were already printed on the painting table. Not an attempt at the most competitive list. Open to minor tweaks. The Doom Divers are old squig gabbers. And the Fanatics are, yeah. Okay, so it's a thematic list. Night Goblins thematically can do a lot of work. So I like everything from like here down. I think none of this needs to change. The Mangler Squigs are good, Doom Divers are good, Squig Herds are good. Maybe we go down to 6s if we need points. Here, I don't think the Spider Banner is particularly worth going for. I think we probably say whatever, and we just go with 30. And then we go with 30 here, and we go with another Fanatic, and we go with 30 here with another Fanatic. They would be better if they had hand weapons shields, because you could get a 5-up save in combat for them. But the short bows is like, it's not the end of the world for having them. And just having more Fanatics is going to be better than doing some poison shooting, in my opinion. Then we've got these things are wild. Like... It's 110 points for this model. So you've gone for the War Boss. So you're starting off with your 3 wounds. You know, T4 3 wounds. You're on a Giant Cave Squig, which is +1 wound. So 4th wound there. Obviously, they're impact hits. They're 3d6 move. You've gone for the Backstabber's Blade, which I think is very spicy. I don't know if it's worth the 25 points, because I think you might struggle to get into the back. But Strength +1, AP -1 is fine. And then you reroll wounds in the flank and hits and wounds in the rear, if you manage to get those shenanigans going. I think that's fun. I like it. I like what you've got there, and it gives you some benefits or some like incentives to try and be sneaky with your Night Goblins, which is cool. What I would change are the casters here more than anything else. So the BSB, on foot, War Banner, Light Armor, Charm Shield. This is just solid. I'm probably not bothering with the Great Weapon, personally, just in terms of it's always going to be hand weapon shielding, because it's pretty much naked otherwise. This wizard here, the War Magic... Elementalism. So, I don't think this character adds anything. Like, there's no reason for it to be on a wolf, you know? I would probably say don't bother with it being on a wolf. There's nowhere for it to go. It can be screened by these, but it can't join them, so I'd be worried about that. Probably just go foot. And then, like, theoretically, level 4 War Magic, Idle Orc, I think is good. And then level 3 Elementalism, Lore Familiar. That makes sense to me. And probably give this character a Power Scroll as well, if you want to go that way. Maybe give both of them a Power Scroll, you know? I think that's a solid way to set up your characters for success. And that puts us 86 points over. At which point... Gotta drop something. For the sake of... I think the thing that's the most replaceable here is this War Boss. Like, going for 2 of the War Bosses keeps the flavour of the list the same, more than anything else being different. Have I ever played against Down After Dark? Yeah, loads of times. I played against him loads at tournaments in the start of the edition. I know Richie pretty well. And Ian says, that's fair. Haven't played much since match play. Haven't not thinking about things like unit strength properly yet. Yeah. No, there's the lots of minor things have made big tweaks to how the game plays. We got 24 points here. I think, what would we go for? I mean, you can have the great weapon back there. Is there anything that's super worth putting in? Anything that's really exciting that we could put into this list? I wonder how many points the Goblin Big Boss... Night Goblin Big Boss. Let's get the right one. Night Goblin Big Boss. Great Weapon, Light Armor Shield. Or Charmed Shield. Giant Cave Squig. So if we go 2 of those, and we drop this down, we're 4 points over, at which point we drop that off here. Yeah, something like that. And that way you still have all of your squigs. You've just got 1 really good one, 2 slightly less effective ones, but you've still got all of the models. That's probably the way that I'd tweak this here. If I tag at Matthias. Oh, right. Well, I think I've gone a little bit backwards and forwards here, but I think... Is that everything? Or... No, we've still got 1 Wood Elf list to go through. Yes. So this is Craig's Take All Comer list for Wood Elves, and it's the final Wood Elf list. Needs a lot of work, own everything but Warhawks. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at this one. So again into core, Dryads, Glade Guard, and Deepwood Scouts. I like how all of these are positioned. 12 with Bodkins, I think is fine for the Glade Guard. 12 with 3 Flight Arrows for the Scouts, I think is good. Dryads, 12 to 14 on foot, I think makes sense as well. I probably wouldn't bother with this unit of 6 on foot. Like, that could just go, and we'll come back to that. Potentially just, like, go up to 14 Dryads like that. Something like there, maybe. Wild Riders, let's put a 6th one in. Just making sure you've got some redundancy there is really solid. Sister Thorn are fine. We could drop them theoretically, but they do hammer hand, I guess, which is not awful. Treekin, I think, if we're looking take all comers, I don't think Treekin make it in, unfortunately. You've got 2 Eagles, 2 Beast Packs, which are more fleshed out than they need to be, but also it looks like maybe you got the very expensive made-to-order box set, so, you know, actually using the models you paid for seems pretty reasonable to me. I'd be tempted to put a 2nd unit of Wild Riders in, something like that maybe, for some more oomph. And then we've got characters as well. So we've got a level 4 wizard here, who's on a steed. You haven't got anything to back this character up. Heartwood Pendant, Power Scroll, Talisman Protection. It's obviously meant to be Lord of the Wilds. I wonder if this is meant to be... Oh, you know what? I bet this is meant to be Lore Familiar. We can take off the powers, the Talisman Protection. And it's going to be, I think, looking for Dirthu's Wrath, is my expectation. Martin says, New PQ, which list builder is this format? Only's Old World builder for the first time last weekend. This is Old World builder. Thank you very much for the gifted membership to Ian. Ian has done well in terms of receiving gift memberships. I feel like I've seen your name pop up quite a few times over the last year. Thank you for being here a lot, Ian. And also thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Which list builder is this format? Yeah. So this is Old World Builder. It's my favourite in terms of it's very easy to read and it translates well on the screen, in my opinion. There's also New Recruit, which is integrated into Warhol, and the other one that Lewis uses, and I've forgotten the name of it. If anyone can remember the name of that one, I'd appreciate it. That's bad. Yeah, there is another one that he raves about, he really likes, and the developer is very keen to implement improvements, so he's got a good relationship with them. I don't use it, but that's more, you know, you find one that you like and you get stuck in with it more than anything else. And none of them give me money. None of the builders sponsor me. So there's no need for me to push one over the other. I just go with my favorite. Okay, Yeah, so this list, yes, we were looking at characters, weren't we? So we've got a stag character, Armor of Destiny, Sword of Might, Annoyance and Netlings, Armor of Aspect of the Bear. Yeah, there's lots of ways you can build the stag character. This is fine. This is quite a tanky one, and it's still got... I wouldn't go Sword of Might, because this gets you to Strength 6. I'd go Biting Blade. Strength 5, AP 2, Armor Bane 1, I think is better than what you've got with the Sword of Might. Because Aspect of the Bear, obviously giving you +1 Strength and Toughness. Also being super tanky is great. I've got a Glade Captain, Great Weapon, Light Armor, Shield, Stag, Helm of the Holt, Hunt, Befuddlement, Mischief, Wild Rider Kindred. I'd like to see Resplendent Illuminescence on here as well. This means that the Wild Rider unit that he joins, not only does he give them first charge, so he's the only first charge in the list. You can try and crack big units of undead, but he also gives them magical attack, so you can deal with ethereal there. And then we've got the Wizard, Talismanic Tattoos, which you had with the Talisman Protection, which is why I think it was meant to be Lore Familiar instead of Talisman Protection. But we've tweaked that here. Aspect of the Bear. This has to be Wild Rider Kindred, because otherwise the Wild Riders lose their counter charge. So I think it's important that it has Wild Rider here. Because realistically, it's going to be joining the Wild Riders, right? There were no other mounted models. There was just 2 units of Glade Guard. Unless one of them was meant to be Glade Riders, but they weren't. So, when is there any World Cup happening? End of September. Back last weekend in September for the Old World International event. I just need to tweak very slightly here. Need to drop 11 points, so I think we're dropping 1 hound and 1 cat, maybe? There we go. Something like that, Craig, I think would work pretty well. And I hope that has been helpful. I really enjoy list building for Wood Elves at the moment. I think there's a lot of angles you can go down. And I think Wild Riders are one of the best ways to play them. They're just quite hard to play, but I think the shooting that they bring is still pretty solid. And I think, especially if you're looking at it from a team's angle, there's a lot of depth that you can do there. Who's most likely to win at Worlds? It's very hard to say. We haven't had any... Well, there have been some international tournaments, but we haven't had any proper Worlds where people have sent the full squad. I think it's going to be a really exciting event, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes and hopefully bring some good coverage of it as well. All right, well, that brings me to the end of the list that I've got here. I'm going to wrap up for the evening, and yeah, there'll be a video coming on Sunday. I'm going to do like a 5,000 subs future of the channel video, talk about what's coming up, all of that good stuff. Should be plenty going on there.